Hello, Dynamo Juniors family. Today we're going to talk about Open Up, about the US soccer culture, and then some goalkeepers drills, stuff like ladder, agility, and aerial ball control. Hope you enjoy. Open Up, a main, an important, and crucial aspect of the game that everybody in possession needs to understand, and sometimes we feel like we're not doing good enough. So let's see if we can use this video to help everybody understand what we're looking up when we say Open Up. We're talking about a concept that we use when we have the ball, when our team possesses the ball. If we do this kind of moves, go into the ball because everybody wants to touch the ball. But if we do this, what do you think will happen? Oh yes, they will come, they will cause, they will actually set a trap. We create that trap, closing the space and giving no time to the player in possession. Well, now the only option of pass, if we find number 6, if it's not a mistake and they steal the ball and they score a goal, the only option is find the keeper with all the players in narrow positions with no easy option to pass. This keeper gonna kick the ball out and blue team gonna start with the ball again. I want you to understand that there is no advantage if you run towards the ball. In possession, moving away from your teammates is usually a good first move. That's the first thing you can do. And then scan and see where the epicenter is and try to find the space between them. But the first thing that you need to do when you have the ball is this. Move out. Move out. Just find the space. Because now, let's see what happens. If we open up, we are creating a lot of stuff. We are creating these passing lines that we did not have it before when in the previous move. If we find 6 now, 6 has easy options to turn because he's, if you can see, in the epicenter between these 4 players. But more things. We are giving time and space to number 5. And guys, everybody here with time and space is better player. Because we can head up, we can relax with our touch, we can feel comfortable with our decisions, and we can have an easy touch. Doesn't matter if it's dribbling, if it's a long pass, if it's a medium pass, if it's a short pass. We have time and we will not miss up. But to have a better idea, and I want you to convince 100% of this, I want you thinking now that you are this blue player. If you are this blue player in front of the ball and our players, for example, our number 6 and our number 10 are doing this, what you will do in that position? Because most of you will press. And that's a good option because you are losing the space, and if you pick up that ball here, you are just facing the goalkeeper. But now, for instance, let's think again like you are this blue player in light, but the orange team are making this move. They are open up the field. So now you have different lines to protect. There is simple, very passes that 5 can do. So maybe you decide to go with number 6, so 10 will be open. If you decide to go number 10, maybe 5 will dribbling, and then you decide to press number 5. At the end of the day, you will be between 2, 3 easy options for number 5. So every time we create that supports, at the same time, in the defenders, we are creating them some doubts. We are making them think. And if you have a defender thinking, that defender will not press to you because he doesn't know where to press. Because as a soccer players, we run first with the eyes and with the brain, and then we decide to run with the legs. So if you are creating doubts in the defender, you'll have time and space for you. So we want to finish this, and I hope you understand it with this rule. For any single player of the field, even the goalkeeper, even the number 9, do not come close to your teammates. Make longer distance towards them. Create time, creating space. Thank you. So let's see example from the Dynamo boys here. Striker gets the ball, and if you see Harry here as a winger and Charlie on the other side, instead of on the red narrow, they're going wider to create the space and kill the press from the other team. Let's see it again now. Here Charlie gets the ball. Look Will what he's doing as a right back. Parker as center mid, how they interchange positions, but they're not getting close to the ball. So everybody has their own space that we can create. Have a look on this. Again, Will, instead of the red, he's going to the orange arrow, having space. creating that time. That's what we mean when we talk to get open. Thank you.
Hey gang, Kevin Mooney here with Southside Soccer Dynamo Juniors. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, finding something to keep you guys preoccupied. I'm coming by way of the office. I was put up to the task by Mr. Juan Olivia to talk about the U.S. soccer culture in this country and how it's evolved. And obviously, I guess someone of my age and how it's been evolving, I guess I have a little bit of history about where the game's been and where it's going. First, I'm going to start off with our U.S. national team. Kiss the badge. It's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger, and I'm very optimistic that with the new people at the helm and running our national team, women's and men's, it's definitely heading in the right direction. But soccer was really brought over here by the Europeans overseas. I'm going to give a shout out to CJ. I think it was originated by some Scottish people that came into this country by way of Pennsylvania. And there's a town in Pennsylvania that really hit it big back in the early 1870s called Kearney, New Jersey. New Jersey. Kearney, New Jersey is really hit it big with the Scots and the European people coming over. They really put soccer on the map. And there's actually a documentary called Soccer Town USA, an American soccer documentary. I encourage you guys to watch it. It's about an hour documentary about how soccer's evolved in this country and how a small town of about 30,000 people put soccer on the map. It actually developed in the pubs and the bar in New Jersey, in Kearney, New Jersey, and it really hit it big. It really got us to the next level, and it developed. In that documentary, one thing I found pretty fascinating, which I really think it's against our culture that we really need to get into, is just how kids in this area would just show up and just to pick up soccer. They would literally walk miles to go to a basketball court, a concrete basketball court, and it had pickup soccer. And that's where a lot of these national players that end up playing on the national team, that's where they feel like they really developed as a player, is playing pickup soccer amongst their peers. And it was very unstructured. It wasn't ran by a coach or anything of that nature. It was just a bunch of kids getting together with a soccer ball, going up there. You had a win, you stayed on the court. You lose, you got knocked off the court. But I definitely encourage you guys to watch it. Again, Soccer Town USA, an American soccer documentary. It's about Tony Meola, someone that I knew growing up as a goalkeeper, our national team goalkeeper for a number of years, a few years above me. Tab Ramos, who's now the Houston Dynamo head coach, and a guy named John Harkes. These three guys came out of this area that played for our national team and really put us on the map with the national team and at the next level. They did a phenomenal job working with them. Some big wins for the U.S. over the years. My English blokes won't like this too much, but in 1930, back in the day, we beat England. We were the third best team in the World Cup in 1930. We placed third place, and we beat England 1-0 back in the day, for sure. Another big win, 1994. U.S. beat Colombia. Colombia was picked to win the World Cup that year, and U.S. beat them 2-1. We actually beat them on an own goal, unfortunately. But that's how we got the result. But U.S. played phenomenal, did well against them. I actually watched that game. It was a very good game. Another big win, U.S. beat Brazil in the Gold Cup. I remember that like yesterday. A guy named Preki was a left footer, very dominant left footer. Played on the right side, cut inside, opened up his left foot, scored a goal about 25 out. And Casey Keller, a goalkeeper, had a blinder. Really, I think Brazil probably beat us on the field, but we beat them on the scoreboard in the Gold Cup. It was a big win for us. But those are some of the big wins. Obviously, from the men's side. On the women's side, they won 2 or 3 World Cups. The women's side really put soccer on the map for us as being successful and doing well and setting the stage for the women's side. Obviously, the likes of Mia Hamm. If you guys look up, back in my day, Mia Hamm was argumented the best women's soccer player in the world. Carly Lloyd, and players, Rapinoe, and now Alex Morgan. There's phenomenal women soccer players. Carly Lloyd won the FIFA World Player of the World. Got the Golden Boot a few years ago. So the women's done a phenomenal job in developing soccer in this country and putting us on the world stage. So the culture is really growing. And anytime the World Cup comes around, the women, you can see a bit of spark in girls playing soccer. So hopefully they keep that up and keep on building the program within the women's soccer as well. Structure. The structure when I was coming up, it was really daddy ball. You know, it wasn't too structured, to be honest. I grew up in Slidell, Louisiana, and it was really kind of a rec plus team. You know, all the best players in the rec would come together and maybe play for competitive soccer, and dads coached it. It wasn't too structured. There was really no player curriculum, player development, a pathway for players. It was just really, and back in the day, it was a stopper sweeper formation that was pretty common. They had a sweeper that kind of was like a free safety in the defense. It just cleaned up behind the defense, and then most players in front of them were man-to-man marking. So it was man-to-man oriented. It was really a physical game. Growing up, it was just really how big and fast you were, and it was a very direct game. Get the ball, get it forward, and try to beat them physically, get in behind, try to score goals. The game's really evolved. The club structure's really evolved. Obviously, what you have now, you have professional coaches that study the game and know the game, that lived the game and played the game, passing it on down to other players. The game's really got to be a zonal man format where it's more of you defend as a team versus individuals. And it's a flat 4 formation where you kind of lost the sweeper. Your 2 center backs or kind of sweepers, if you will, that clean up behind and keep everything in front of them. And then again, it's zonal defending. It's kind of marking from the ball out and making sure you're putting constant pressure on the ball. So it's really evolved. And again, like we have here, we have a pathway for our players within the Dynamo program. So you play rec with our South Side, and hopefully you graduate to our YDP, our U10s, and you develop in our YDP, and then hopefully you make a select team with the Dynamo, and then hopefully you make a Dynamo All-Star team, and then you get called into Houston and maybe train and play with the academy program, and who knows, maybe sign with an academy team and get on the first team. So there's a bit of a pathway for the players if they want to pursue the professional ranks. The other pathway is not going to professional ranks, but playing Dynamo and going to the collegiate ranks and going to college and get an education, like most people in the U.S. have done. And then obviously you get identified through a Dynamo ranks and go play college. And after college, you can always report to camp and go to professional after you get an education in college. Europeans and other people kind of frown on that because they feel like you've missed a lot of development when you went to collegiate. They feel like getting a player at U8, at 18-year-old, 17-year-old is at the pro ranks to develop them is much more important. But in this culture, education's key. Go to college, get an education, and then pursue college, professional, if so true. That's the path I chose, and that's the path 90% of the players choose. They go through the college ranks, and do well in college, and then hopefully get picked up by a pro team or get drafted or stuff of that nature. But that's the culture here in the U.S. as far as playing at the next level, women's and men. Again, 10%, 5% might go straight to the pros after high school, but most go to college.
Hello, keepers. Training's Goalkeepers 101 the Dynamo way. Okay. Another good technique. Again, all from your stance. Make sure you have a good ready stance. If you're training by yourself, it's very important you roll the ball from behind to the front, so we're training ourselves to attack the ball. You could start off slow, then go fast, okay? Slow, through, come down, make the save, okay? So you alternate, same thing, slow, through, come down, make the save. Now fast, a little bit quicker, here. You're gonna get some footwork in there to collect the ball, okay? You can do 10 of these each side, okay? Faster, boom, come down and make the save, okay? Good technique, to get your technique down, make sure you're falling on your side, not your stomach. Make sure you're getting your footwork in there, you're attacking the ball. Keep up the good work, guys. Here, he says turn, I turn, I find the ball, okay?
On the volley?
Yeah, on the volley, okay? So you're gonna say turn.
Okay. And turn.
Now find the ball. Remember, body behind the ball as much as you can. Get your feet there. Collect the ball. Okay?
And turn.
Find the ball. Try to move those feet quick. Try to mix out. Okay? He can vary the service, high, low, medium ball, to keep you challenging a little bit. You don't have somebody hit volleys. Have them underthrow it. Have them throw the ball at you. Collect it that way. Work on your handling. Work on your reaction. Work on being on the balls of your feet. Good ready stance. Collecting the ball properly. Keep up the good work, guys.
Do it. Just do. Okay, here. Good. Okay. And laces volley this time. Good. Laces again. Good. Laces. Good. Good. Alright. And so the next one. Kind of like bind and then return.
Laces back.
Sure. Yeah. And then same foot. So right and right, left and left. Start here. Good. Good. Okay. See if you can alternate. Right knee, left foot. Good. Left and right. Excellent. Okay. Good. Last one. Good. And rest. Okay. Just finish. Good. Okay. Chest, thigh, return. Last one. Good. And rest. Okay, so we're going to start off simple. 2 touches in each hole. Okay. Now 4 touches. 2 inside, 2 outside. 2 inside, 2 out. 2 in, 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 2 out. We're going to try backwards. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out.
can't do